Hello everyone, welcome to today's particular new video discussion, and today's topic of conversation is ultimately going to convey my personal message and experience with you of how to become or otherwise sustain the balance of your own financial responsibility, to become your own accountant and fiscally budget yourself and those around you. And ultimately, contrary to popular belief, derived from my beloved, her side of the family, who has this deeper misconception, this false notion of me, of being fiscally irresponsible, and placing his judgment upon me, myself, indicating that I'm the one in our relationship who spends all the money. Okay, so I am responsible. I am guilty of that. Although from a past perspective. What I mean by this is that to not go travel deeper down the rabbit hole of my own deeper personal life, as much as I am very much an open book, brutally honest. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I am very much open and honest with those around me. However, just in general, okay, in general, at one point in my life, when I was 13 years of age, that was the particular age when I started working. And at that age, my family and I had operated our own business, and derived from this was mainly commission based, at least from what I had received in the financial perspective of it. I helped out as much as possible. I worked hard, as I'd always done all throughout the duration of my life, my human existence. And as a result of earning so much money on my part, I had the irresponsibility, because, you know, when you're at that particular age and all throughout your teenage life and your childhood, you do not necessarily have much of a responsibility as far as, like, you know, paying taxes and paying bills and rent and all that sort of fun things. However, I spent a duration of all throughout my life spending money, particularly on not necessarily so much video games. It was more along the lines of band merchandise, and that was one of my greater obsession. And I put quote unquote for my wife's, my beloved, her side of the family, because it's a lot easier for one to judge another person if they have absolute no recollection, a collection of their memories from the past. And anyway, I'm not going to get too much in discussion for it. That's completely irrelevant. So ultimately, I had a horrible spending habit until from 13 years of age until I was 21, 22 years of age. I had dated my ex-fiance for about roughly 2 to 3 years, and at the time I still had a horrible spending habit. I made so much money where I thought I was on top of the world. You know, I could literally afford anything I wanted, and which was the absolute truth. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I spent countless amount of money on, like, what I used to wear religiously every day, were like band shirts, trip pants, bondage gear, and needless to say that, I mean, you know, to this day I still make pretty good, decent amount of money. However, I am a lot more mature and level-minded and fiscally responsible, to where I don't necessarily spend my entire paychecks on, or my entire budget on, things that are not quite a necessity. And one of my New Year's resolution, going back to her side of the family, you know, in particular, I become sick and exhausted after a while of, my financial business is no one else's business, okay? I had to create this video as a way of clarification and to prove my innocence, okay? And it's so sad that when you marry into someone else's family, that somehow the truth and the words and the actions that you apply into your own reality is somehow not manifested to be quite unquote, quote unquote, good enough for someone else. And it's such a silly concept that I have to create an entire duration of my video to waste my time for it. But this actually had come to channel from the negative into the optimistic. So, let this be a voice of reason, a voice of inspiration for you and of influence, so that, you know, if you, let's just say, okay, that if you are someone who, take example, okay, demonstration, if you are married to someone or in a relationship of any kind, it doesn't matter who, it could be a boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, wife and husband, wife and wife perhaps, friendships, roommates, family, whatever, okay? And if you find yourself to be divided in your relationship due to your financial struggles, obstacles, challenges, or otherwise that are coming in between you in your relationship, and obviously that's not a positive thing, okay? So I have decided that okay, let's go back again, quote unquote, prove myself worthy, to win the stakes of arguments, to wipe the slate clean, to be, to envision myself for the future perspective, to be a greater human being, a constant journey of life, every single day of my life, and to avoid any confrontations, conflicts of interest, or arguments of any kind. This is actually what I had comprised with. In financial management, believe it or not, if you're someone who, for the longest time, a lot like myself, who made so much money, and you spend so much money, and you found yourself that you cannot control it, you know, it's one thing, it's perfectly acceptable and fine that it's normal and tolerable if you, as long as you make money enough to where you could cover your bills and then the appropriate necessities of life, and you find yourself to have enough money left over, you could actually pay for you know, other things if you so decide you want to choose to pay for it in your life. Like you want to go out and enjoy your life, like you go out for a movie, or pay tickets to go see a concert or Comic-Con, or go to the zoo, or what have you, you know, to go purchase a brand new car, or whatever along the lines, you know, or like, you know, my instance, you know, go out and buy some band shirts or movies and music or what have you, then that's absolutely your choice, and that is your will, and no one can argue with you spending the fraction of your own money that you had worked so hard for and put your law of attraction into so you could earn that money. So ultimately, this is just something in particular to show you of my accounting. So you take a regular, you know, notebook here, and everything that I spend, between my wife and I, everything that we spend and we earn in, and this is what we actually get here, as you can see, this is an example of it. Pay the necessities. Okay, let's fill up with gas. I write the date, what I'd spent money for, and the dollar amount. And ultimately, each section of like each single page, you want to write down of your name, financial spending, and or your roommate, friend. Like I said, it doesn't matter who. Financial spending, financial receiving, and you keep track of that. And it's a core discipline of your mind that you have to get accustomed to every single day, and it definitely pays off for sure. And you have no idea how much this organization actually does work. And if you have a file folder, or like in my case, what I have is a portable travel case for this file cabinet. You want to organize everything. You put your receipts in there every time you pay for, let's say, rent. For if you get a receipt, you want to get a receipt for everything that you do, so you could go back at any time in case of, okay, take example like a water bill, power bill, the internet bill tells you otherwise, like, you know, you haven't paid this much, or you're still missing this payment. You could actually go back into your file folder and see exactly what day you spend, you paid it on, and this and that. My father had taught me so much of financial organizing and planning and responsibility for things like this. So this is absolutely crucial to have and quite vital to have, and everybody needs it, honestly. I know a majority of American people and people in general in the world who are not organizational in the slightest, and they just lose so much of their track of spending. They lose so much of their financial obligations for it. And it's a great way to budget yourself, and then your spouse or, you know, your partner in your relationship cannot tell you otherwise of you spending too much, or, you know, or whatever. It's usually the case in most relationship cases and perspectives. So my father, I have a lot to thank him for personally. He is the one who taught me the upbringing of financial responsibilities. And especially if you have a bank account, you want to not have your name under the same name to share a joint account together. You always want to keep it separate. For this, it's just like this, so you can actually keep track of your own. So yes, in conclusion of this particular video, I just wanted to say that financial obligations and responsibility are one of the most vital things to have. Whether if you believe it or not, it seriously does help a lot. So much more than you realize. And I'm sorry if this, I sincerely apologize if this video in particular is quite boring compared to my other videos, but it was just something that you have to adapt and apply and balance into your own personal and daily life. And whether if we want to hear the truth or not, that's what's important, and it'll save you a lot of money. Seriously, trust me. And more videos to come. My name is Cody Gremlin. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching my videos. You are absolutely amazing, and I shall see each and every one of you soon. And I really hope that this how-to style inspiration video helped you a lot. So see you, everyone.